Today I'm sharing a video editing workflow. Let me first give a brief introduction to a video like this. I added one tiger to the scene using a prompt. The final output is that a tiger has been added to the scene. You can see the results. The advantage is that it doesn't require background removal. It can directly use one of its lures can achieve this directly. Modify the content in the scene by adding or replacing. There are also style changes, etc. I will explain its usage in detail later. Another method is to specify the image by calling out the background, replaced with a reference image. For example, in this same image, I use this none to cut out the figure. Finally, upload one more reference image. Then use this reference image to generate. This is one example of replacing a person in a video. Let's take a look at the results first. I only use the effect of one amplification sampling. If you want a higher resolution, you can directly. You can use my workflow to zoom into high definition. There is a dedicated workflow for high definition video upscaling. Fluxus vs. R. The main point is that reference images can be added below these to specify to replace. The above is a simple edit using prompt words. Replace, add, modify, or change a style. I will go into more detail later. Let me first introduce the in-brain cloud online mirror I'm using. Users prefer to deploy locally and use it immediately. Open my mirror and update to the latest version. I'm currently using an online mirror. If you see that it's running now, then you can too. I put this workflow in the outermost LTX service. Clicking on it reveals that this is the only item in the complete set. Clicking on it will show the complete set. It's on line 4. The fourth and fifth in this order. Row 4, column 4. The fourth and fifth should be placed in this position. The advantage of online mirrors is that they are ready to use with a single click. Each workflow has a video tutorial. Moreover, the layout is consistent. They are all divided into 2 columns, in this order from left to right. In this order from left to right. It's perfectly clear that once you learn one, you'll be able to use the others. Because my workflow layout is always consistent. And this contains not only this, but also the complete Flux kit and the complete 2511 image generation or editing. These are all the latest ones. So generally, the outermost one is fine. Items inside are all old and can be used for starting reference. Mainly divided into video categories. With over 10,000 videos generated related items that cost over 10,000, which is also 10,000 commonly used. Sometimes you feel the older one is better. Then you can use the one inside. Voice-based services are essentially the same as previous voice cloning services from sound, etc. However, the latest information, voice cloning is the intermediate level of this technology, and its effect is the best. Furthermore, the voice design also produces the best results. Music generation is complete at this point. It includes features such as music generation, speech generation, and speech cloning. Benefits of using my online mirror. It means you can replicate all the content you're currently using with a single click. What I have, you also have. No deployment required. Those who want to deploy locally can click on my image. Open my notes. Click on the ComfyUI tutorial in the navigation. It will jump to the location of the workflow. Similar to mirror images, they are divided into three categories. Image first. These are divided into three categories at the bottom. This is in the video category, same as the workflow name, LTX.3. Click on it and you'll find the installation tutorial. The download links for some of the models used are located here. Also, take a screenshot so you can see which model to download and where to put it. No need to download all. Below there are screenshots of all the workflows inside. There's also this simple operation by which you thumbnail calculation. Then there are some videos below the video tutorials. This note is recommend that everyone use it because I'm currently using the offline editor in 2500. There's also the image and the full contains video-related category. The image class both know and available related tasks for the generation of generation. This is my mirror. The ultimate workflow. The layout of divided into two parts is complete. This makes it very clear. Use one easy because the layout is consistent. The above is generally a default. The following are generally some color blocks. The rest can be very clear. If you want to deploy it locally, click on the ComfyUI tutorial. It will jump to the location of the categorized under the course. My name is the sound. I've included this workflow here. It has the exact same name. The installation requirement. It has a download link and a simple switch. This way you can easily follow the instructions. Yes, and the parameters are clear. Below the video, below is a download suitable for people. Okay. Let's get back to this one. Workflow for modifying actually one in video editing. Then I added the latest VVVR to it. It means being able to understand this latest EDE version of LoRa. The models are all up to date, so the generated effects basically, it won't make any mistakes. I don't need to use the high definition zoom on this. Directly output with a single sample. If you need high definition magnification, you can download it and use this workflow. You can enlarge the video to high definition. This is very simple. It just involves importing one video. Then through this prompt word, one thing you need to modify is, for example, adding a tiger to the scene. Then this is one of the prompt words for setting the AI. You don't need to worry about it. It will automatically expand the prompt by default. It's just getting a little bit more perfect. This operation is very simple. Use the prompt words directly to operate. If you don't understand, please refer to this annotation. How to use it? I will provide detailed explanations. Then click Run to get the output. I put the content you want directly in the scene. Okay, that's it for now. This is suitable for changing the style, replacing content, or adding content. Below is the option to add one reference to a specified object. Here I'm using one callout node. There are two callout nodes. The latest Sim 3 has a drawback in its callout feature. For example, I want to call out the helmet and the character. Even if you add this helmet and more of these in line, you still can't lock it properly. So it depends on the situation. The default setting I'm using is. This is manually removed. Shift holding the left mouse button will turn it green. Shift holding the right mouse button will turn it red. Unwanted, so adjust in this way. If you want to cancel or reset, click the button below. One drawback of using it manually is that you have to run it every time. Pause after this image appears. First, manually select the cutout option. Then run the settings here, all of which are annotated. If you don't know how to operate it, you can refer to this annotation. It would be perfect if done manually. It will completely remove the helmet from the character. This node isn't working well right now. It doesn't work with multiple objects. So by default, I've selected manual mode here. This setting can be viewed here as well. There are two cutout modes to choose from. The default setting is manual. Then, here you upload one reference image. What character or object do you want to replace? Then, the automatic image cutout function will eventually apply the mask. Note that this mask must be this color. The default settings are already configured, so you don't need to change them. They will be modified to match the color of the mask. Another thing to note is the default setting here. If this mode is supported, then this mode will be supported. So the default settings are fine. What you need to do is adjust the red part. Just follow the steps for the colored parts. The prompt simply stated that a young woman was wearing a helmet. A graceful, leisurely draw can ultimately produce this rather perfect result. I used a single zoom-in effect here. If you want higher resolution, that means putting it into other workflows for high-definition magnification. For example, open this high-definition zoom function and put it into the workflow. Even with high-definition magnification, the effect is still quite good. His body movements are all normal. One point to note here is that although it can be used as a reference, however, details such as the consistency of facial features, it's still not possible to achieve that level of precision. So what can these two editing workflows do? It's just some ordinary video editing. If you want all these profile pictures to be exactly the same, after you generate it using this, a workflow for switching heads involves switching the head back over. It's essentially a one-to-one replica of your reference image. This is one approach. This is just a general modification of the major aspects. Even small details, like the consistency of the head, then you can solve it using the head swapping workflow mentioned above. There's no need to solve it here. The head swapping workflow can be solved using this workflow. So sometimes you can't do a good job in one step when editing a video. You can solve it into steps. Okay, that's all for this episode. Go have fun.